Have you been caught by the Portuguese dream and want to buy an incredible property here, whether it's to relocate or invest, but don't want to make a big costly mistake on your first purchase here in Portugal? Well, then you're going to want to watch this video because we're going to cover the most common mistakes made by first-time home buyers here in Portugal. If you have started doing your research online and want to move here to Portugal, then I'm sure you've come across many different articles, blogs, and forums that have different and conflicting information. Now, this can make it complicated to understand what is legitimate information and up-to-date information about the latest laws and regulations about moving and purchasing a home here in Portugal. So do not fall for the traps on the internet or misinformation that is going to cost you a lot of time, money, and stress throughout the entire process. Now, the first mistake, and very big mistake that people make here, is thinking that from a country like the US and UK, you can come to Portugal and live here completely for free, in the sense that you do not need a visa. But in fact, you definitely do if you want to live here full time. So if you're relocating with a family, you're going to need a long stay visa here in Portugal. This is a visa such as the D7 visa. But there are rules and regulations that apply with these visas. So you're going to have to stay in the country for a minimum period of time and also have a minimum income coming in from other countries. Now, you have many different visas and different visas will be better for your situation, but really look into this, do your research on the best visa for you, speak to different experts. I will link a couple resources in the description below so you can see which visa may be best for your situation. I'll be making further videos on different visas as well so you can stay up to date with all of that. When purchasing a property, and if you're not working with the right experts, then they're not going to advise you to do this most of the time, and this is getting a mortgage pre-approved. So prior to doing any property viewings, you really should have your mortgage pre-approved if you're looking to finance your property. The reason you want the mortgage pre-approval is because the process does take, a few weeks to come through in most cases. So let's say you go on your tours, you'll find the perfect property in the exact location that you want, but your mortgage isn't pre-approved and you have to wait a few weeks for that to come through and you lose the property. That sucks. And do not end up in that situation because I've seen it too many times with other people and they lose their dream property and they're very upset. So for all of our clients, we make sure their mortgage is pre-approved prior to any viewing so you can pull the trigger on that perfect property when it does come. If you're enjoying this content and finding it valuable, then please hit that subscribe button. Along with the mortgage pre-approval, we always recommend getting a mortgage broker to take care of the mortgage process because they will go to many different banks to find you the best rates, and it's also the easiest and most efficient process for you because you have your single point of contact with your mortgage broker. Now they, in most cases, will not take any fees off your part and are paid by the banks entirely, so you lose absolutely nothing going with a mortgage broker. The next mistake, and this is a very big mistake, although commonly said, is picking the wrong location. Now this may come down to the region that you pick. There are obviously the main regions in Portugal, Algarve, Lisbon, and Porto. They each fit different lifestyles differently, so you have to be cautious and careful which one you're picking, so I suggest exploring these regions. But the location comes down to many different things as well. If you're purchasing in the Algarve, for instance, you may be in more of a more rural area where it's further away from supermarkets. Now you don't want to be a 25-minute drive away from every single supermarket in your area, so be very cautious of this. Or if you have a family, you're going to want to be near a school or near a bus stop that is going to take your kids to the school because you don't want to be wasting 45 minutes every day in the car or even longer. So be cautious of the location that you pick. Now, further on from that is picking the right land because not all land is made equal here in Portugal, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, where you have rural land where you cannot build anything to do with a permanent structure, so you can only grow crops and that's agricultural land here in Portugal, or you have coastal properties where you also have other restrictions. There's height restrictions on properties, so you need to understand what you're getting yourself into. Now this moves us into the next point, is picking the right professionals to work with. So if you work with a private deal where you're not working with a mediation company such as a real estate agency, then you may run into issues because you might not have the right information on your side to really get the best deal or know what you're getting yourself into in that situation. So picking the right real estate agent is fundamental to a successful purchase here in Portugal, as they'll be able to guide you through all the rules, regulations, what you can and cannot build on that land or property, so you make the right investment and choice for your home here in Portugal. Now, having the right experts by your side, such as a real estate agent, is fundamental, but you are also advised to get a lawyer. For all of our clients, we set them up with the right legal representation because there are many documents that pertain to the property that you are going to need to get verified. Now, a lot of this is not digitalized and you cannot verify it via the internet on who's the owner, how much they bought it for, how much it's going to be sold for, your taxes, everything involved in it. It's a very complicated process, especially as you're purchasing a home here for the first time. So if you use the right experts, it actually becomes a very simple process. So definitely do that so you're not going to get into a bad situation or purchasing the wrong property or getting into a potential scam situation if you do not use a lawyer. So definitely seek the right legal representation so you're fully protected throughout the entire process, as purchasing a home is a lot of financial investment and commitment. It may be the biggest purchase that you're ever going to make. So be sure that you're making the right one. Another big mistake here is not understanding the closing costs here in Portugal when purchasing a property. This includes your initial transfer tax, the IMT, the stamp duty, the IMI, which is the annual property tax you're paying on the property, the legal fees, the real estate agent fees, the relocation agency fees, depending on who you work with and how the payment structure is set up between these different entities. You have to understand and budget correctly throughout your entire move. So you understand that the purchase price and the ticket price of the property, whether that be €1,000,000, you're going to be paying quite a bit more than that. You may need to get a car here in Portugal. You may need to matriculate your car if you're bringing it over from another country. All of these need to be factored in. We have made a video about the closing costs here in Portugal, which I'll link in the description below, so you can check that out after this video so you can really budget correctly and make sure you understand how much your move is really going to cost, so you can understand what you can put towards your property. If you're looking to purchase a property in Portugal, then we are an exclusive buyer's agency that represents you, the buyer. If you would like to hear more about that, you can click the first link in the description below. I look forward to seeing you there, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.